Fred Kemp is president and CEO of the Atlantic Council. He will be here with What's Next. Marco Papich is chief strategist at the Clock Tower Group. Welcome to all of you. We really appreciate you joining us today. Kelly, let's start with you and the latest.
President Zelensky said about that rebellion over the weekend in Russia that it showed that Russia's weak and in chaos. The question, can Ukraine take advantage of that on the battlefield? The deputy defense minister has said that they have made progress on the southern front, that they've retaken about 50 square miles of territory from the Russians. They released video today showing their soldiers, they say, their soldiers taking over a village, the 9th village, they say, since their offensive began. There is also active fighting in the east, and that is where Wagner fighters were most effective for Russia, particularly in that battle for Bakhmut. The question now, will those Wagner fighters come back into the fold? In this audio message released by Prigozhin today, he said that only about 1% to 2% of his fighters wanted to join the regular Russian military. If true, that may answer the question that the Wagner fighters have now been taken out of the mix after this extraordinary rebellion in Russia. Adding to that, Prigozhin's message over the weekend, which not only went to his own fighters, but likely to many hundreds, possibly thousands of fighters for Russia in the battlefield. That message that military top brass were hiding the numbers of casualties, that they weren't providing the equipment needed for Russia to win the war, and crucially, that they had lied to the public and the president about why Russia went to war with Ukraine in the first place. Kelly Kobiella, NBC News, Kyiv.
Kelly, thanks. Meantime, China throwing its support behind Putin effectively, downplaying the rebellion as an internal affair. Eunice Yoon is in Beijing with more on their response. Hi, Eunice.
Hey, Kelly. Well, the foreign ministry repeated that again today here, adding that as a, quote, friendly neighbor and strategic partner, that China supports Russia's national stability. Now, over the weekend, China's foreign minister as well as vice foreign minister hosted the deputy foreign minister of Russia who flew here to Beijing. The Russian foreign ministry said that China reaffirmed their interest in strengthening the cohesion and further prosperity of Russia. The Chinese side quoted the vice foreign minister as saying that China-Russia ties are now at the best period in history. Now, none of this is very surprising, given that President Xi Jinping has only been deepening his ties with Russia, as well as his so-called best friend, President Putin, throughout the Ukraine crisis. China has yet to condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine. One interesting note, though, the official readout did not personally name President Putin for support. However, all the signs are, Kelly, that the country is not going to break ties with Russia.
Although, Eunice, that does risk further inflaming U.S.-China relations, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But at this point, it looks as though China is really trying to toe a line here to remain quite neutral. And in fact, it was taking quite a bit of time in the first several hours when we saw the developments over the weekend that China was remaining quite calm, or not calm, but quite quiet about their own position. And you could imagine that they are concerned about the relationship with the U.S. as well as what this could mean for China, as well as Xi Jinping's standing, having really hitched his wagon to President Putin.
Right, both kind of their friends in the world, and also, as many have observed, perhaps keeping it with an eye towards Taiwan in the future and any involvement there. Eunice, thanks. We appreciate it.